Hello, how are you? Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Shannon, and this is Whiskey and Wool. I talk about knitting and spinning and woolly things, as well as a little bit of whiskey chat. I am going to take you straight there to the whiskey chat right now. I filmed it last night, so enjoy. I'll tell you where to skip to if you don't really want to watch the whiskey chat. Otherwise, stick around and I will talk about wool after the whiskey chat. Hi there. I'm going to do a little whiskey chat with you. It's my last 2019 Advent whiskey, but it's okay. I'm getting a whole new box starting December 1. So I have like two more I already know what I'm going to do next in my next episode. So this is Glengoyne, the Legacy Series Chapter 1. They released a couple chapters of this. Again, I got this at the end of 2019. It retails for about $70 US, maybe 55 or 60 Great British pounds. Yeah, so it's a series. It's not necessarily, there's not an age attached to it, so we don't know how long, but I'm going to talk to you about that. I have talked about Glengoyne before. It's one of the distilleries that I have been to. I think I tasted their cask strength whiskey early on in my whiskey chats. So it's been about a year probably since I've talked about them. They are in that Highland Lowland border. Right along the border, so they're like a Highland whiskey that's made in the lowland, but it's really literally across the street. So you're in the lowlands on one side of the street and the Highlands on the other side of the street, as I remember from the tour that we did. I'm going to just tell you a couple quick things about them. There's a couple unique things about their whiskey production. Probably the first that's most striking is that they do not use smoke to dry out. They don't use fire or smoke to dry out their barley, because the barley needs to be dried in the process of making whiskey. Most distillers will use smoke, and that's how you get smoky tastes in the whiskey. Glengoyne does not use smoke, so if you like smoky whiskeys, probably their whiskeys aren't for you. But they offer different things instead. One of the other things that they do is that they have made a commitment to always use sherry casks that are made from oak from Spain, Spanish oak barrels, and they use the Oloroso casks, sherry casks, and other Spanish branded sherry casks to age their whiskey. What else do they do that's unique? They also say that they have the slowest stills in Scotland, which creates bold flavors. They're owned by a company that they were established in 1833. That's when they got their license. Of course, they were distilling on that site illegally, as many of the distilleries were, before they were actually licensed. Let's see what else I can tell you about them that's unique. I can tell you that it's pretty small. The production is fairly small, but they still, though they're owned by a company that owns, I think, a couple other brands. I'm not sure exactly. They are a small family-owned business, but they own more than just Glengoyne. They really adhere to tradition for producing the whiskeys. There's a ghost on site, so this is kind of appropriate for Halloween night. They're one of their old distiller managers who came. I think he was there for decades. Sorry, cat is acting up right now. He drowned in their on-site lock, where they use a lot of the water for distilling and for the process of making whiskey. And supposedly to this day, he still haunts. He had a dram too many, as legend has it, and then fell in the lock and drowned, unfortunately. That was many, many decades ago, though, so it didn't just happen. It was several decades ago. Their current distilling managers began in the 1970s, so it was certainly way before that. So yeah, what else can I tell you about them? I really enjoyed visiting. It was a really cool and unique experience to see. They have a beautiful waterfall and loch behind their distillery, which I'll put some pictures in, assuming I can find some. I think I can. I think I took some pictures as well. Um, yeah, they offer a line of let's see if I can tell you of. I think it's about 7 or 8 different styles. Um, yeah, here's their collection. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about the chapter 1. So what I remember about visiting Glengoyne is that the whiskeys all were on the lighter side of things, like more green scent. So like a lighter whiskey is usually characterized by like citrus green scents, like grass, lemongrass sometimes, and there's a striking lack of smoke and peat. They also don't use peat. They use local. They have green awards. They've gotten green awards for the last like 5 years for their production. They are all about like recycling and having a low impact on the environment for their production, which is awesome. So yeah, so I remember that about their whiskeys, like they're being a little bit on the lighter side, more like a lowland, what you would get in a lowland whiskey, because lowland whiskeys tend not to have peat in them, and they may or may not have some smoky scents. Sherry will also impart a lot of fruit flavors, sweet flavors, just because sherry's a sweet wine. It's something that a lot of people will have after dinner, like as a dessert wine. So, what am I smelling? I am smelling, it's not a deep berry scent, but there is a fruit scent for sure. I definitely smell grassy scents. It's a little bit of a pastry scent as well, which you would often get from the oak barrels that they use. An overwhelming sweetness as well. I don't really smell citrus. It's kind of the like peach maybe instead of versus like berry, right? So it's like peachy, plummy scents. Wow. It's almost like it reminds me a bit of white chocolate because there's a richness, but you're not getting that overwhelming chocolate taste. It's a little cakey, like cake or biscuits. Let's see what they say. There's a slight burn too at the end. Okay, few tasting notes. On the nose, sticky toffee pudding with dates, vanilla, warm pear, and cinnamon. On the palate, you taste that fruity sherry with the taste of sultans and vanilla. Dried fruit spice linger in the end. Okay. I also want to tell you what a professional taster says. Like other than them. Okay. On the nose, mandarin, herb like taste, vanilla. Maybe mandarin. That might be a good rather than peach. I smell peach though. The vanilla comes through. Like there's definitely some sort of like you feel like you're in a bakery sort of scent. Very sweet figs, butter, toffee, baking spice. I could agree with that. And then at the end, bitter spice and nuts. I definitely get the burn, which it's interesting. the burn to me reminds me more of the alcohol taste, and often like the taste, the professionals will say, oh, that's spice. So whatever. Tomato, tomato. This one was supposed to have been inspired by the ghost, not by the ghost, but by the man who became the ghost. By his name was Cochrane Cartwright. So that was what this was supposed to be inspired by, this legacy. So I think the idea of the legacy series is that they explore different legends and legacies that have to do with the distillery. Okay, that is my whiskey chat. I am, yeah, that is the end of that advent calendar, and I look forward to sharing next year's calendar with you starting sometime in December, because I've run out. I have for next week, so 2 weeks from now I'll be fine. Then I need another one for the next 2 weeks from then, which might actually bring me right to that beginning of that advent calendar. We'll see. Anyway, I will see you next time. See you. Bye. Okay, you're back. Welcome back. It is a gorgeous day today. Beautiful sunny day. Very cold though. We had a frost this morning, a really hard frost. Like the grass was pretty icy for the morning hours, and as was yesterday. Yeah. Let me talk about wool now. It's this sweater that I'm wearing. I'm wearing the Pink Velvet by Andrea Mowry. I talked about it a few episodes back. You can always find things that I don't go in depth on, knitting projects. You can always find information on Ravelry about them. And if I remember, I'll tell you which episode to go to. Or actually, on my project page, every project page has a note about which episodes that I talked about it with. So you can learn about the yarns and stuff there. But just wanted to note that this is Andrea Mowry's Pink Velvet pattern, and I love it. It's a very cozy, I love this like Surrey alpaca silk merino yoke. It's so fuzzy and soft. Really love it. That is what I'm wearing. Martha is wearing one of my whips. So I don't have any finished objects this episode. So I became a grandmother. My granddaughter was born. She was born on October 15th. And yeah, she's really doing great. The little family is doing great. Yeah, and all is well. And I have shared a couple pictures of her on Instagram. I'm not going to put any pictures here on YouTube of her, but if you want to see a couple images, I'll be continuing to share images from time to time on Instagram if you want to take a look there and see what I'm sharing. I'm trying to be very respectful of the parents and what they are comfortable sharing. So if they've shared a picture, then I feel like I can share that same picture. So, but yeah, she's beautiful. She's the most beautiful baby I have ever seen, and yeah, she's pretty spectacular. And I'm looking forward to watching her grow and become a young woman. It'll be so exciting so great to participate in her life and enjoy having a new family member. So yeah, that happened. That is why I'm a little late with this episode. I think it's gone on 3 weeks. I actually considered taking another week just because I feel like I have not a lot to show, but I have enough. I have enough. So maybe we'll be a little on the quick side today. I always say that, and it never is. Okay, Martha. Martha is wearing the Spark cardigan, and last time I had the sleeves finished, and I think I had just started the border section of it. So the Spark cardigan is also by Andrea Mowry. It is a pattern that has you begin with knitting the sleeves. You knit one sleeve at a time or two at a time if you choose. And then you start knitting it's a cardigan, so it's you knit from the bottom up, and I have some steeking rows here in the center where I'll be cutting the knit after it is done being knit. Yeah, so I've made pretty respectable progress. I think I have to get to about 13 inches before I start doing neck shaping because it has a little bit of a shawl collar. So there's kind of a deep V to accommodate that shawl collar. And then further up a few inches beyond that, you actually connect the sleeves and then do the, what do you call it? The shoulder area. So it's all in reverse. So yeah, it's been pretty fun. It's interesting. I did not put this together until just before I was ready to record, but I think if you're a returning viewer, you may remember this from last episode. I had put the two sleeves together, and this one is quite blue, where this one is quite rusty orange colored, this side over here. And I think now that I can see it together, it looks pretty good because this has the same thing going on. This is one skein here. It just transitioned. It transitioned kind of quickly, I guess, for this. If it were on a sleeve, it would have, because it's a smaller circumference, it would have transitioned more slowly. So it looks a little abrupt here, but there's actually some transition color work happening in there, right in here. It's going into the skein. Skein is going into sort of a deep burgundy color. The yarn color that I'm using here is some of my own hand spun. It is 100% Targhee Into The Whirled fiber from two different colorways that I combined. They were both turquoise heavy. One had more of an orangey gold color scheme going on, and the other one had like green and burgundy in it. I talked all about how I made this yarn and what I was thinking about with the yarn when I was trying to combine the two skeins in its own episode 81.5, which you can go watch if you want. And if I remember, I'll put it in right here so you can see. Or is it here? It's this side. Yeah, it should be right up there, a little link to click. Yeah, so if you watched me for a while, you know I love turquoise. I love turquoise. And across the color wheel from turquoise is the orangey red side of the wheel. And so I like putting those two colors together to get like this sharp contrast. So I often work with these two colors. The beautiful base yarn is from A Prayer Farm. It's 100% Cormo from 8 different sheep on Tammy's farm. I have a tag over here. Yeah, this isn't the right color, but at least it's the right tag. So you can see the 8 sheep's name there. It's got very generous yardage for a 100-gram skein. It's beautiful yarn. It really blocks so nicely. Tammy raises the sheep. She has them sheared, or I don't think she shears herself these days, but I think someone comes in and shears them. The wool goes to Green Mountain Spinnery, it's spun, and then it comes back to her, and she dyes it. And she uses all natural dye processes. So this yarn, the body or the main color of yarn, is dyed primarily with madder root. There's another flower in there, which I've talked about now a couple times. Yeah, so I love the way this is coming out. This is going to be a very wearable neutral sweater, I believe, even though it's got, like for me anyway, because these are colors that I wear quite a lot. So I'm really looking forward to having this done. This was also kind of a whim. I wanted to buy some of Tammy's yarn. I bought it, and then it came, and I was like, what do I make with it? And then the Spark Cardigan came out, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm going to make the Spark Cardigan with it. And I was sort of playing around with this spinning technique that you can see in episode 81.5, and they just kind of came together to make the Spark Cardigan, and I'm super happy with it. Have I said enough about that? I think I have. Okay, the majority of my knitting time over the past few weeks was absorbed by the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along Slip Extravaganza for 2020, for fall 2020. I kept up I was surprised I was able to keep up. He released the 4th clue Friday. I haven't knit too much of it. I've knit 3.5 rows. If you don't want to be spoiled, I'm going to tell you where to skip to, because I'm just going to talk about it for a while now, for the next like probably 5 or 6 minutes or so. Before I tell you where to skip to, I just want to tell you that I love this pattern, and I think that Stephen West is a genius. He's a genius. The way that man's mind works, like as I was knitting it, I just was like, wow, the way this man's mind works is just so amazing, and we're so lucky that he shares his ideas with us the way he does. Okay, skip ahead if you don't want to be spoiled. All right, again, I'm in the middle of a row. It's over 900 stitches, so figuring out where, like, finishing the row wasn't going to happen. But anyway, here's where I'm at. This honeycomb section here is clue 1. We got a bonus clue, this right here, this little like 20 row pattern here. Then clue 2 was this diamond shaped pattern, which, oh, you could see pretty nicely. It's going to block out wider and more beautiful. Then clue 5, or clue section 5 and 6, or 4 and 5. Clue 3 was this slip stitch here, and then these triangles. So the rainbow that you're seeing is my yarn. So yeah, and then you can see that I've done a couple rows. This bright yellow is just the beginning of the clue that was released on Friday. I'm so happy with my yarn choices. Somebody said, I don't remember him saying this in the directions, but he apparently said, maybe on Instagram or something, that you'd be wise to pick a dark main color. And I think that's true. I think the shawls that I like the best, the versions I like the best, have a dark main color. Or like maybe a very light, like say ivory or white. Or whitish, natural, maybe. Main color would also be quite pretty. Yeah, my 2 favorite versions of this, the people use black for their main color, and it looks so beautiful. It looks like stained glass, like the way the whole pattern lays out, because this is really going to stretch and open. It's just going to be so beautiful. And the border is going to be these beautiful chevrons, which I'll put a picture in here of his finished shawl. It's really gorgeous. Like, what a gorgeous shawl. It is a 5 skein pattern. You need 2 skeins of your main color. I chose this one. I went stash diving. All these were in my stash. These are deep stash. Like this I probably bought 3 years ago. This is from the Periwinkle sheep. It is the colorway the Warm Ewe. It is her 100% superwash fingering weight yarn. The brilliant yellow that you see is by Trey Liz. It is called Lemon Zest. It's a neon color. It's not showing neon on screen. Colorway 2, I took the mohair dare. So he had a mohair dare with this, where he dared you to add mohair to one of your colors. So my color contrast 2 is a combination of Garn Story Cosmique and then Cabrito from Manos del Uruguay in the colorway Lucura Fleur, I think is the way you say it. So I put those 2 together, and this mohair was really the reason why I ended up with a rainbow, more so than this. I mean, this is gorgeous. Where it's reading white on screen, it's really kind of more of a pale aqua. It's very, very pretty. It's got like black speckles and fuchsia speckles. I'm glad I added the mohair, because it really added something. And then my contrast color 3 is this beautiful, also Garn Stories colorway called Piccadilly. This I got in a mystery bag from her. She did mystery bags for a while, or it might have been a mystery sock. I think it was from a mystery bag. Yeah, she wasn't shipping to the US for a while, and now she is again. And I placed an order in September. She shipped it right away, and it's still not here. So, beginning of November. She said to stop bugging her, because I didn't bug her. I asked her once about what she thought, and she told me that it was on the way, and there was nothing she could do. That shipping was just slow. So, okay. And then she posted, "Stop bugging me, people in the US, because shipping is slow." Okay, thanks. I wish she just said a little more openly that shipping would take 6 to 10 weeks or something like that. So I ordered, she had a sale, and I think I ordered just a few, nothing I wanted or I needed for, stuff I wanted, yes, but nothing I needed for anything in particular, thank God, because I would have replaced it by now with something else. Anyway, I'm going to show you something else I got from another German maker that came within a few days. So I really don't understand why it's taken so long, but whatever. Whatever. It's the way it is, right? I'm just reporting the facts. I'm trying not to editorialize them. Okay. What else did I work on? Oh, I made a little progress on one of my Christmas knits for a gift for one of my boys. This is Tahesha the Dragon, which is a sweater pattern that I saw on Christy Glass in Rhinebeck 2019, and I knew I wanted to make it. I knew I wanted to make it for one of my boys, or if not all of them. I thought I would start with the smallest son first, just to see how intense it is. It really is pretty okay. Let me show you here. Last time I showed you, I think I had just started. I think I was about here. So I've made quite a lot of progress. I mean, it's a pretty easy knit because you're just knitting in reverse stockinette for the body, and then you're doing a little section of about 40 or 45 stitches where you're doing a bunch of cable work, and it's relatively easy cable work. It's very well charted, and there's written directions too if you prefer written directions. Tahesha the Dragon, though, is a pattern that is just like a square with the dragon on it. So you can take that chart and apply it to whatever you want. So you could put it on a scarf, or you could put it on a shawl, or you could put it on a pillow, you could put it on a sweater. So I chose to use the Go-To Raglan, which I own and I made a couple years ago. It's by a pattern by Stephen West. So this is like a Stephen West, Andrea Mowry episode. Yeah, so I chose to put the dragon on that sweater. I had to reverse the directions because the Go-To Raglan's a top-down knit. So I had to reverse the directions because Tahesha the Dragon is knit from bottom up. And I thought it would be too much trying to figure out what should happen in reverse order from top down. And it was pretty easy to just reverse a plain knit stockinette stitch pattern. Yeah, so far so good. I think it's looking pretty good. It's probably about this, I'm probably about there on the body. So I have about 3, maybe 4 more inches to go before I do the sleeve split, and then I'll be knitting the whole, the yoke all the way around, and doing the decreases for the raglan up, and so on all the way up. I have planned the dragon pattern I'll be still doing the dragon pattern for about 10 to 12 rows after I split for the sleeves. So there'll be a little bit of a section. But this is knitting really fast. I really haven't spent that much time on this. So I'm pretty pleased with how far along it's come. Yeah, let me tell you about the yarn. The yarn is 100% Targhee by Jill Draper Make Stuff. It's her Empire base? Kingston base. Her Kingston base. The color name is Front Street. She names the Kingston base, all of the colors are named after streets and places in, sorry, itchy nose, in Kingston, New York. So this is a very pale gray with just very subtle black speckles. It's very pretty. I really love it. It blocks beautifully. It's really going to soften up in the block. I think it has a lot of oil in it. It doesn't feel as soft as this Targhee, But this turkey I've also spun with no oil, and then it's been soaked and stuff, so quite different. Yeah, so that's that. It's living in my sweater size fat squirrel bag. Really generous. It's hard to get her bags. Her sales are, she sells out very quickly. She's one of those where you have to have very, very, very quick fingers to get anything from her. What else? That is all my knitting. I am planning to cast on the Shifty in Christmas colors this week. I just want to get it going, and now that the pressure's off with the shawl and it's 900 plus stitches, I'm just going to take my time on those border stripes, and just however long they take. I'll reach a point, as I do with all my knits, where I just want it off the needle. But I do really, really, really want to do gift knitting. I have a bunch of socks in mind to make for the baby. I've got a bunch of hats that I like to make. I have a lemon yellow hat that I really want to make for myself. I think what I'm going to do is just put together a bunch of skeins in a basket and put it over by my couch, and just make a hat from time to time over the next month or so, and just see where I get to with that. So yeah, so I do have a little bit of spinning that I'm going to show you. I spun one skein. Hold on one sec. Okay, I spun one skein this week, since my last episode. I think I had it on. I had one. It's a 3-ply. I've been really loving 3-plies. I think I really like the balance of them. And I talked about this, I think, last time. It's still damp. It's actually pretty wet. I just soaked it this morning. But I think you can get a good idea of the colors. It's really beautiful. It's one of my favorite skeins that I've made recently. It's from Frost. Ooh, I don't have her card with me. It's from Frost Yarn. It was a monthly club bat series that she did last year. This is another 3-ply from one of the bats that I got. So I was actually thinking that these could kind of go together. And then from last episode, I had made this from Melanated Boho Babe, this one. They all kind of go together. Like maybe I can do some sort of project with those. Also, this. Now, in my defense, these I bought and this I bought. I selected these. These were club colors. I had no idea what I was getting. So I did not plan to have so many rust-heavy yarns, but this one's really spectacular. I wish I had more. Though I don't really like spinning from bats all that much. Okay, this is really wet, so I'm going to put it down. Okay, I am almost done. This is going to be a fast one. I have some stash to share with you. Where do I start? Let me start with this because it's All Saints Day and season appropriate, I suppose. I bought another sweater size bag. This one's from Wild and Woolly. It was a pre-order where she did some Halloween themes, and I just really loved that this was a nice neutral, and also I just love cats, and I love, love, love Halloween iconography, which this has plenty of. I also really loved this canvas bottom, which has a little bit of shimmer to it. It's really beautiful. Not going to show you what's inside because it's one of my mystery knits. And I attached this, I got this stitch marker, or progress keeper rather, that I hooked on to the pull because the zipper pull was quite small, and I was thinking, wow, I really wish I had something. And then I was like, wait a minute, and just hooked it on because it really goes with it. It's a crypt with some glow-in-the-dark hands. I got this from Junk Yarns for a special Halloween package that she did. Yeah, I love that bag. I'll probably use that bag year round because I love those size bags. So sticking with junk yarn, the rest of the Halloween package that she sent us out was a mini skein, a 5-skein mini skein set. Very palatable, user-friendly colors. They were based on the show Goosebumps. So that was one. You'll be happy to know that I got my green yarn. So I had said last time I ordered green yarn and it arrived. I ripped open the package and was completely bummed to find out that I accidentally ordered blue instead. I was just off by 1 digit. I ordered from Rama. Actually, I ordered through Isolde's shop. She's in Edinburgh, Scotland, and I ordered. They came out with a new heather line as part of their Phenol PT2 yarn. Oh, look how beautiful this green is. This is a green, beautiful green heather. It's so pretty. This yarn feels so good. I've never knit with it, so I'm super excited. I had already determined, I already know what pattern I'm going to cast on. I don't remember the name of it. I know it's inspired by candy. So I'm going to put a picture here on screen. I saw it on La Bien-Aimé's page, Google page. We should all have a Google page. I saw it on La Bien-Aimé's Instagram. And yeah, caught my attention. I think the designer is in Spain or Portugal. I don't remember which, but I already purchased the pattern. And I'm planning to do a black and white yoke because I love the idea of a like vibrant green. Like this green isn't coming across on screen as vibrant as it actually is with black and white. I love these colors together. So I bought 1 skein of black, 1 skein of white, which should be plenty to do the yoke. And yeah, I can't wait to cast this on. It's coming soon. Oh, I was crinkling that right by the microphone. Sorry about that. Yeah, coming soon. Yeah, we'll probably right around like in the holiday season when I'm done with the Christmas sweater that I'm making for me and then some of the Christmas knits and are off my needles. I'll cast that on. Okay. I also did a little Rhinebeck shopping, even though it was the weekend that my granddaughter was born. I managed to, there were a couple shops. I didn't go to many. I only went to 3 shops. I went to Into The Whirled because I had bought this yarn from them last Rhinebeck, or that fiber rather. And I picked up 2 different blends. One is, I mean, oh my God, so beautiful. The Shetland Silk Blend, and the colorway is unobtainium. There we go. Shetland Silk. So pretty. And then I bought a Blueface Luster Silk. Come to the conclusion she must also love turquoise. This one's called Merlin's Beard. So pretty. Yeah, so I just picked those up from my fiber stash. The other shop that I shopped at for Rhinebeck was Wing and a Prayer. Her yarn, like I said, is very, very special, and I guess I was in a green mood because I bought some more green. This is a 2-ply, 2-ply sport base. It is a wool mohair blend. The wool is Wensleydale, Cotswold, Teeswater, and Cormo. She calls this yarn her Taconic Twist. It's a beautiful blue-green, right up my alley color-wise. And I bought 4 skeins of it. That should be enough for a sweater's quantity. Don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to hold on to it for a little while and decide what I would do. yeah, that's it for my stash acquisitions. I did get one more thing that I want to share with you. I bought, so you might remember that I had bought well, I didn't buy it. My boyfriend had given me for Christmas a year-long subscription of Stitch Together Studios Ritual Boxes fiber. And what that is basically is that you get, once 8 times a year, you get a candle, a bag of fiber, and other little things along in the package for just for the pagan holidays. So there are 8 pagan holidays over the year, and anyway, I was gifted a year-long subscription, 8 boxes. I got the first 3 without a hiccup, and the 4th box, a lot of time passed when I should have gotten it, so I emailed and asked about it, and she said mine was lost in the mail. And that was like during the pandemic had kicked in by then. So she sent me another one. I got it in August, but there was one that I was supposed to get in August, and then I was supposed to get another one in October, another one in November, and another one in December. She has since emailed me and told me that she's not going to do any more boxes because she lives in Iowa, and they had a horrible, horrible storm in August that really took out a lot of the infrastructure of the area that she lives in. And she's just been really, really stressed out. So I'm totally fine with that. Like, I don't know how many other people bought a year, but she basically was asking for she wanted to give me a refund. So I said, yes, that's fine. Just give me a refund for the last 4 boxes. So because of that, I thought, well, maybe I'm going to just buy myself some other box from another dyer for the season, for the fall season. So I was looking around and I saw that Homespun House does a box. So Molly of Homespun House is an American who lives in Germany. She married a German citizen, and she has 2 daughters. You probably know her. She's well known. I've never knit with her yarn before. I just never have had an opportunity to buy it. When I first learned about her, she was in Germany, and then she was in the United States for a short period of time, for about a year, maybe a little longer. And I don't think she did any yarn shows. I guess there was potential for her to do some coming up, but then COVID happened, and they decided to move back to Germany. Anyway, she does what she calls monthly boxes, and they're quite expensive. But I was curious, and I also had this money to spend. So I went ahead and, this is spin on fiber, I went ahead and bought a box. I bought the Halloween box. It wasn't really Halloween so much as I think she called it All Hallows Eve box, so it wasn't Halloween themed necessarily. So yeah, in case you're curious, she's very cagey about what you get. She says yarn. She tells you yarn, and she tells you a couple other things, but she doesn't tell you much. She just says it will be inspired by the season. She's just done another one for Christmas time, for I don't know what she called it, Yuletide or something. I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. I decided not to get it because I have advent calendars coming. So I'll have plenty of fiber and wool coming into the house as a result of my advent calendars. So, yes, but I was kind of feeling like I wanted something. So I went ahead and bought it. I did an unboxing video, which I'm going to put in here for you to see. So just enjoy the unboxing, and when you come back, I'm going to show you the yarn up close. Here you go. It came with a candle that smells like apple strudel, and a coffee mug, yarn, of course, which I'll show you in a minute. There's a little bag with a progress keeper in it. I'll show you in a sec. And then finally a magazine called Making Stories. So here is the box all laid out. Here's the mug, a close-up of the mug. It doesn't have a handle. I absolutely love the mug though. I've used it every day since I opened it. It's so beautiful. This is the candle. It is also homemade, and she also included a card with some information about the makers. She gave me some washing tape, which has a moon icon and a very cute little Halloween themed progress keeper. Very cute. And a pin with bats, Halloween iconography. It's super cute. And finally, some yarn. This is the Homespun House singles in the colorway Twilight, which I'll show you. Her single ply is very plush. And then also her mohair silk blend in the colorway Nurture. It's very beautiful. All right. I hope you enjoyed that. So yeah, I got these two yarns. I have to say, like, the texture of them it's quite something. Like, I don't know what her finishing technique is, but like this, they feel very plump and lush. Like, I don't know. Like, I've never purchased her yarn. I've just never had any opportunity, or just never hit it quite right. And I also know she's a dyer whose yarn sales, you have to have fast fingers. So I mean, I'm trying to buy with purpose, aside from these like mystery things that I am occasionally getting. So yeah, so these will go in my stash. I mean, I think everything else, I mean, I know, like, we really, because we're being in the United States, I kind of probably got killed on shipping. But generally, I mean, the box was very beautifully packaged. It was beautifully curated. I think you're really paying for that curation. The mug, I absolutely love the mug. I mean, she used all German makers. The candle smells beautiful. It smells like apple. It's labeled apple strudel. It's really a beautiful scent. I haven't burned it yet because I have another autumn scented candle that I'm burning down. So when that's done, I'll try the apple one. And the mug. I love the mug. I really love the mug. And the yarn is spectacular. And this magazine that she included too, the book, it's very cute. It's very nice. It's very beautifully put together. It's nice quality paper. Making Stories, it's called. And I actually see a hat in there, the one on the cover, that I think I'm going to make. It's a reversible. It's got lace on the outside and stockinette on the inside. So I think that's going to go into one of my hat patterns that I'm going to knit in the next couple months for Christmas time. So yeah, it was a really nice surprise. I don't think I'd want to get it every single time she does it, though I think it's a nice treat yourself box to get. Yeah, it's a nice treat. It's a nice treat if you like those kind of eclectic packages. But yeah, it was a beautiful box. I'm happy I got it. Again, I don't think I would get it every time, but as a treat, as a nice, beautiful pamper yourself treat, I think it's really, really nice. All right, I'm all through here. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. I hope it wasn't too long a week for you. And I am excited about some new stuff on the horizon. I hope to have a lot of progress on the sweaters that I can show you. One quick note about the dragon sweater. Though that son and his significant other, his partner, they don't watch this channel. They do follow me on Instagram, so you will never see that on Instagram until it's been gifted to him. I'm planning to give it to him for Christmas, so it'll be around Christmas time or shortly thereafter that I'll have a couple good pictures of him wearing it. So yeah, I will not post that on Instagram. And the other mystery sweater that's in my cemetery cat bag, I will show you as soon as I can. It'll probably be into December or early January before I can show you that. Yeah, and that's about it. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful and safe next couple weeks, and I will see you again really soon. Bye.